Alrighty, good morning, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Kevin back here once again. I'm here to give you guys a live update on what to expect as we get towards this afternoon and this evening. And I'm also going to talk to you guys about the storms ongoing in northwestern Arkansas at this time here. So good morning, everyone. I'm seeing the comments come in. Bring on the rainfall here. And that's the biggest thing I'm going to bring to you guys today. But it is going to come at a price here. So let's go ahead and talk to you guys about what's going on up here right now. Up here in northwestern Arkansas, we got a few severe thunderstorm warnings up here. I'm going to talk to you guys about these real quickly here. So maybe for just a second here, let's get this going. And there's the severe thunderstorm warnings at this point here. Let me see if I don't know if they dropped them or not. Did they just drop it? I think they just dropped them here. But anyways, we still got some strong thunderstorms up here in northwestern Arkansas, producing some hail up here near the Fayetteville area, near Rogers. These storms are moving very quickly to the east at about 55 miles per hour here. So kind of watch these storms closely. I'm not expecting these storms to go tornadic or anything this morning. The majority of the instability is still well off to our south and west, and that will be coming in as we get towards later this afternoon into this evening here. But we're going to kind of watch these storms real closely. If you guys see any hail reports or anything up there in northwestern Arkansas, feel free to send in some photos, send them some videos, and we'll post it on the page to give you guys credit here. But I'm going to zoom this out and show you guys kind of statewide view on what's going on at this point here. Okay, so you guys can see real quickly here, there's the slight risk. I'm going to go over that here in just a little bit. The slight risk has been pushed further to the west with the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center here. And I'm going to show you guys in a little bit why that is the case. The marginal risk that did cut out western Arkansas now includes western Arkansas as well. Guys, if y'all having problems with sound, you may have to back out of the live stream and come back in. It's a Facebook issue. Everything's still working pretty good on my end. But as mentioned before, we're watching these storms up here in northwestern Arkansas, mainly hail producers this morning. And then there's the marginal risk for severe weather for today. And then you've got the slight risk from central Arkansas down into southern Arkansas and over to eastern Arkansas at this current time here. Okay, so we're going to switch this over and let's go ahead and talk to you guys about that here. Okay, so this is mainly going to be a wind and hail risk. However, we do have that 2% tornado risk across across central and eastern Arkansas this morning. This morning going into the afternoon into this evening. The hail threat will be there as well. And I want to stress to you guys, especially about the power outages. The power outages is definitely going to be there this afternoon and this evening with these storms that get going across the area here. I want to stress that so much because of the fact that these trees are weak from the drought. Okay, these trees are extremely weak, so it won't take much for them to fall. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're going to have a full staff this afternoon into this evening, giving you guys updates in terms of what's going on across the board here. But just kind of monitor that very closely here, especially the power outages, since the wind threat is up there so much. And as I said before, the tornado threat very low. However, we will have to watch out for those brief tornadoes being possible across eastern Arkansas. And speaking of that, let's try and talk to you guys about that tornado risk. So as I mentioned before, a few brief tornadoes will be possible this afternoon, this evening. I will have to watch out for some isolated cells that may get going ahead of the line. Those are going to be the cells that you're going to have to watch out for that isolated tornado threat. Any tornado threat that gets going this afternoon, this evening, will not be a significant tornado producer. They will be very brief, weak within nature, and then they will be going away very quickly here. However, be mindful of any severe thunderstorm watches or any tornado watches or anything like that that gets issued for today. If anything occurs like that, we will be here. We'll have the updates for you guys on the page. And also the very bottom one, if any tornado warnings get issued, we will be live. Okay, we're going to have our full staff here today. Our chief forecaster, Derek's going to be joining me. I've got two forecasters that are going to be joining me as well. We're going to be keeping you guys updated in the comments in terms of questions. But the biggest thing is know your counties and know your surrounding counties. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't have much going on except for northwestern Arkansas. Take the time now to kind of figure out where your county is and figure out your surrounding counties, because we're not going to be able to answer these specific county questions or the city questions during tornado warning coverage unless you're in that tornado warning itself here. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind across the board. And also the bottom comment, okay, strong to severe storms will be possible this afternoon that could cause power outages. Be sure that your phones are charged this morning here. Okay, so keep that in mind across the area here. Elizabeth, I see your comment. I understand that, but I'm saying to you right now, the tornado threat is very, very low. Okay, we're not expecting these significant tornadoes today. It's going to be brief within nature. If anything occurs, we'll be here, but I'm not expecting the significant tornadoes for today. It's going to be a very weak tornado risk, but I'm mainly concerned about the damaging wind threat and the hail threat for today here. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Also, we'll pull up some comments. Trish, he is actually with his mom this morning. He's going around doing errands with his mom this morning, so I don't have him in the weather center with me this morning. I was trying to get him to come in with me during the live stream, but he had some errands he had to go do. So that's the biggest thing with that here. So I'm enjoying the sun while I can. Already raining up there in northwestern Arkansas. If you guys are seeing anything up there this morning, please let me know at this kind of time here. Tina, I see your question about Mountain Home. Is Mountain Home going to get hit? Everybody's in the risk for today here. Let's back this up and show you guys graphically here. Actually, matter of fact, I forgot to go over this graphic. This is the severe weather timing for today here, okay? So northern Arkansas and into northeastern Arkansas is going to be from now to about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Main threat will be hail and wind. I'm not expecting a tornado threat to really start getting going until this afternoon and this evening when we have better daytime heating and the instability really gets time to get into the natural state. Central Arkansas, right now, I got you guys right around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Guidance is kind of all over the place with timing. Let me take a look at that real quickly here. I saw the HRR. The HRR is kind of figuring right around that time frame here. So about 2 o'clock in the afternoon to right around 8 o'clock this evening. And then for our folks down there in southern and southeastern Arkansas, we're talking 5 to 6 this evening and into the late evening hours and the early part of the overnight hours here. So we're fully prepared to go to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, going over the severe weather threat here, especially for our folks down there in southeastern Arkansas here. But that's the timing for today. And also, if you're just now tuning in, I do appreciate you guys for being here. Let me see here. Clear skies and windy in western Little Rock. The biggest thing with this is whenever you're forecasting severe weather, the first thing you don't want to see is the sun. And that's the biggest thing I see first thing right out of the gate is the sun coming out this morning here. So that's kind of a clear indication on what to expect as we get towards this afternoon into this evening here. So if anything occurs, we'll be here. Also, one more thing to kind of add to the addition to the weather center is we have a generator now. So if we lose power, we will actually be here and continually keeping you guys going. Our generator actually lasts us all the way for about 9 to 10 hours now. So we'll keep you guys updated on that at this point here. Okay, so what time is the yellow? So before we've got that up on the map right now. Phillips County, I think it's going to be right around that 4, 5 o'clock time frame. In your area, I'm going to have to watch closely for that damaging wind threat and that hail threat and that isolated tornado threat. And let me back this up and show you guys this tornado threat real quickly here. Okay, so as I mentioned before, it's going to be I don't want to say a very, very low risk. It is a very low risk, but it's going to be with any cells that get going by themselves and sustain themselves. It's kind of like we have a line of storms that are going to move through, and I'll show you guys some guidance in just a little bit. Any cells that get ahead of that line and is able to maintain itself will have to be watched. So basically, we could have a few warnings go out. We'll be here. We'll keep you guys updated on the latest. But right now, it's going to be with those isolated cells that get going. Along the line itself, it's going to be a damaging wind threat. And the damaging wind threat, I say today, kind of supersedes the tornado threat because of the fact that the trees are so weak, the tree limbs are so weak because we've been in a drought all summer. So any 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds that get going with any storms across central and eastern Arkansas, they're going to quickly produce power outages. So that's why we're telling you guys now. I believe one of my forecasters actually made a good point. Damaging winds will be bad for power outages. Keep your phones charged and always have a way to stay prepared across the area here. I see your comment, Charlotte, DeShay County over there in southeastern Arkansas. I think you guys will be the best shot of seeing that isolated tornado threat for today. And I'm going to show you that here in just a little bit with our Futurecast here in just a second here. Also, good morning. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you guys for tuning in. Renee, I see your comment here. The sun is out this morning. And this is the biggest problem. We have dry air in place right now. But that's going to quickly be replaced this afternoon and this evening. So what's going on is that drier air is kind of putting a lid on any morning activity except for our folks up there in northwestern Arkansas. So much of the risk area today is actually starting off with sunshine, which is something you do not want to see going into a severe weather threat here. Okay, so I picked my son up from school at 3 p.m. in the Bryant area. Should I pick him up earlier for today here? Now, the biggest thing, I know this is kind of fitting right around that end of school time frame, people getting off work, stuff like that. Anything occurs in terms of a tornado warning or anything like that, they have their own protocols. So if a tornado warning goes out 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and your kiddo is still in school, it'd be actually best for you to stay where you are because your kid would actually be fine in school because they have their own tornado warning protocols and stuff like that. So I'm not expecting a big tornado risk. However, just be mindful of any kind of random tornado warnings that kind of get issued across central and eastern Arkansas. Basically, the area highlighted in green from Memphis to Little Rock down to Hot Springs, down towards the El Dorado area here. And I would say personally that I-40 to 530 corridor from Little Rock to Pine Bluff over towards Brinkley, that will be the area I would be kind of really concerned about the potential of an isolated tornado potential. But if that does occur, just kind of keep that in mind here. If it happens during school hours, they have their own protocols and stuff like that. So it's probably best if you just stayed where you are in terms of your being at the house here. Okay, so let me see here. If y'all have any questions, let me know as well. Good morning. Have my battery charged already. Generator's ready. That'll be a great thing because for the damage wind threat is definitely going to be there for today. I'm going to back this up and show you guys this. So we're talking 60, 70, 80 mile per hour wind gusts. I want to stress before we go into this event that it's not going to impact every single bite. Not everyone's going to see severe storms for today, but it's going to be these isolated areas that could see those 70, 80 mile per hour wind gusts. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can switch this over to our thing real quickly here. So bear with me for just a bit. Let me see if I can get this over here. Okay, there it is. All right, so there's the HR, and let's just take this for example here. Okay, so this is right around that 3 o'clock time frame here. Okay, and right here is what I'm talking about. So these cells I said from that Brinkley area to Little Rock down towards Pine Bluff, this little area right here, it's got my concern for that potential, that isolated tornado threat. So we'll have to watch that close, but you can see how the HR is really wanting to highlight that isolated cell that gets going over there in east central Arkansas. And he said before, this is right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you can see you get 2 rounds, by the way. One comes through. The first round's coming in this morning. That's going to come in throughout the afternoon hours from central eastern Arkansas. You're going to have a redevelopment area across central Arkansas here, and then that's going to push southeast into the state. And that actually could include some areas over here in southwestern Arkansas. I believe the HRR may be underdoing the coverage over here in southwestern Arkansas. I'm going to have to watch that close. But these cells are going to be very heavy rainfall producers. Wind gusts could be talking about 70, 80 mile per hour wind gusts with these thunderstorms, and we will have to watch for that isolated tornado threat here. I don't want anyone letting their guard down just because the tornado threat is very low. Chaser perspective, I've chased 2% before, and I've nailed tornadoes on 2% before. So keep that in mind across the area, especially from Memphis to Little Rock, down to Hot Springs, over towards eastern and southeastern Arkansas. You guys know full hand. If there's a tornado warning, we'll be here, and we'll keep you guys updated. Also, one more thing I want to show you guys too. If anything occurs in terms of damaging winds, we're talking significant damaging winds, 70 and 80 mile per hour wind gusts, kind of the biggest change we've had with our fall severe graphics and stuff like that, we will be live. Okay, so if there's a major severe threat going on that's non-tornadic, we will be here as well, because I do believe the power outage threat will be pretty up there for today here with any storms that get going across central Arkansas here. So just kind of keep that in mind. I want to show you guys something real quickly here. So I'm going to go over to our supercell composite here. I believe that's with the HR. And you're going to see here, we'll back this up actually to the 12Z run, because the new run just came out. But you guys are going to see what I'm talking about here, okay? So this is right around, we'll pause it for about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see the 2, 3, 4s in terms of supercell composite. That tells you everything you need to know. And then you can see how that area just really brightens up by the time we get towards that 4 or 5 o'clock time frame. So I think the biggest shot is going to be right around that time frame for about 4 o'clock in the afternoon thereafter. Okay, so that's where our game time is going to be, from 4 o'clock in the afternoon throughout the rest of the evening into the overnight hours. North Arkansas, you will see this throughout the morning hours into right around that lunch time frame at this point here. Then you can see this kind of drags into southeastern Arkansas. One more thing I want to show you guys too before I get back into the comments. Let me see here. This is the tornado threat here. So you can see not a big tornado threat for today. It's a very, very low threat. But you can see these isolated yellows and these oranges that kind of get going across central Arkansas. Those are the areas that you're going to have to watch. Like I said before, I don't think it's going to be a tornado outbreak. But I am telling you now to be mindful of any tornado warnings that get issued. And if any warnings get issued, we will be here and we'll keep you guys updated on the latest here. Okay, so Clark, that is a really good point. Remember that a lot of tornado sirens will be tested today at noon. So if you hear a tornado siren go off at noon today, kind of keep calm, okay? If you don't see us live, there's no ongoing tornado warnings here. So just kind of keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, Clark, I want to say, I don't know, somebody can kind of probably, if anybody has more information than I do, confirm that in the comments. I don't know if they tested on severe weather days. I don't know if they do that or not because of the fact that it could be like misleading or something like that. So let me know in the comments about that. Someone that knows more information about that, obviously. But I don't know if they tested on severe weather days. I think they tested on actual clear days when they're not expecting any severe weather across the board here. Okay, so for anyone in Central Arkansas, the stretch to come after the school hours, I would say roughly around that point, Dylan, about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You may see some storms kind of get going a little earlier than that. We'll have to wait and see. Let me go back over to our timing real quickly here. So let me see if I can switch this back over. Okay, so there it is. So this is our severe weather outlook for today. Let's go over to our timing map real quick. So we're talking from now to 3 p.m. across the board. And in Central Arkansas from 2 o'clock, I say that Russellville, Searcy, Conway area, probably around at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then down into Little Rock, Hot Springs, the Brinkley area, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. What I may end up doing once we get a better handle on guidance this morning, I may go in and kind of make that a little bit more localized, a localized timing map to kind of give you guys a little bit more perspective on to expect these severe thunderstorms here. But I think from Hot Springs to Little Rock to Brinkley, it's going to be around that 3 o'clock time frame here. And then from Russellville, Conway over to Searcy, I think it's going to be more 2, 3 o'clock here. So some people may still be in school when some severe storms get going. Like I said before, I'm not expecting a big tornado outbreak. I want to stress that right now. This is going to be a day that I want everybody in this live stream to make damaging winds just as popular as the tornado threat here. If you guys are so concerned about the tornado threat, I want you guys to be just as concerned as damaging wind threat, because those are going to be the ones that are going to produce the power outages. Those are the ones that are going to produce the damage later on because of the fact that the trees are so weak from the drought and everything like that here. So keep that in mind across the year here. Okay, so what about Jacksonville? Same thing. I think it's going to be around that 3, 4 o'clock time frame for you guys in this area here. Let me see here. Good morning, James, by the way, from Batesville. Are we clear up there in north central Arkansas? I think you guys will see a hail and wind threat up there with that morning round that's ongoing right now. But I do think the tornado threat is coming to your south. So are you in the clear in terms of the tornado threat? Yes. Are you in clear in terms of overall severe weather? That's going to be a no across the board here. Okay, so what do I do if I'm in line waiting for my son, get out of school, and a tornado warning gets issued? So the biggest thing is if you're in line already, getting your kiddo out of school and the tornado warning gets issued, I believe, like I said, I don't know if this is actually the case. It's been a while since I've been in school, but I believe what they do is the parents that are out in the line and stuff like that are outside. I do believe they bring them inside the school and y'all take shelter inside the school. I don't know if they changed the policy on that or not. Do not hold me to that. Somebody with more information probably knows a little bit more about that. But back then, when that was the case, basically anybody that was outside, they brought them into the school and let them take shelter inside the school. They didn't let them just hang around outside. But obviously, that thing's probably changed over the last couple of years. So we'll have to wait and see on all that here. Okay, so let me see here. So hopefully no tornadoes in the Russellville area, and maybe more than 5 drops of rain. I know that's going to be the biggest thing today. It's going to be the rainfall. And I'm really happy that you guys are going to get a good amount of rainfall with this. As a matter of fact, let's take this back over to our HRR real quick. Let's talk about rainfall totals here, because I think that's, if anything out of this is good, it's the rainfall totals here. And I want to stress, so I mentioned before, these are going to be not a big rainfall maker, okay? However, some localized areas may get very lucky. You may see 1, 2, 3 inches of rainfall across the area here, but some localized areas can see that. The majority is going to be 1/4 of an inch to as high as an inch of rainfall. This is not going to be a heavy rainfall producer across Arkansas, unfortunately. We do have Saturday. We do have Sunday. We're going to talk about for the rainfall chances, but we'll get more than that after today here. But this is definitely going to bring some kind of rainfall across the board here. At least it won't be extremely dry across the area here, okay? So if y'all have any comments, let me know. Let me see here. There we go. So there, the great point. I believe just to make that comment, we do not put out any watches or warnings. We just report it. I am extremely grateful that you guys think that we do. That means we're doing a great job across the board, that you guys think that we put those watches and warnings out, but we only report them. We don't just put them out. That's the National Weather Service in Little Rock. That's their job. We don't put out the watches and warnings here. We just report it. But so far, I feel great because that means that we're doing a great job here in terms of in terms of the reporting here. Okay, so Sandra, Northeast Arkansas expecting severe weather. Yes, mainly a wind and hail threat across the board. Let's go back over to our graphic real quick. Mainly wind and hail threat. However, let's take a look at the tornado threat here. Okay, so tornado threat up there in Northeastern Arkansas, you're not in that risk. However, we're going to watch for some isolated cells that may try to get going. Don't be shocked by the noon update that this tornado risk may end up kind of nudging a little bit to the north to kind of account for some afternoon development. It just, this tornado threat is kind of really key on where the afternoon thunderstorms are going to be, because that's where the atmosphere is going to be at its prime for the potential of seeing some isolated tornadoes. I do not think it's going to be an outbreak. I want to stress that right now across the board. This is not going to be a tornado outbreak across the area here. If anything, I think the damaging wind threat is here. Tornado threat's here for today. But you never want to let your guard down when there's a low tornado threat across the board here. Okay, so I believe that's the case. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They don't usually test them on severe weather days here. So I don't know if they're actually going to run them today. If they do, just keep in mind, if we're not live, then there's no warning. Okay, but I don't think they test them on severe weather days here, which is great because it defeats the whole misleading purpose here. Okay, so let's see here. Thunder here in Van Buren County had a couple of tiny showers here, but mostly sun. So basically what's going on right now is the rainfall that's going on up there in northwestern Arkansas. It's battling the dry air that's in place right now. And basically what that's doing, it's helping the environment get ready for this afternoon and this evening. Had we not had that morning round, it'd have been very difficult to get severe weather today because we had too much dry air in place. So the morning round is actually our worst enemy for today. Nine times out of 10 on normal severe threat, when you have morning rain, you're thinking, oh man, okay, this is going to end the severe threat for today. It's not going to be the case because you got too much dry air. So what's going on, it's helping to moisten the atmosphere and getting the atmosphere ready for the potential of seeing some isolated severe weather for this afternoon here. Okay, so thank you for the great coverage again. Thank you for that comment. I do appreciate you guys for being here. So before right now, I'm going over all the questions. So if y'all have any questions before we get started with severe weather coverage, this is the time to ask here. Okay, if you know anybody that needs information, tag me in this live stream here. I'm going to be live for probably another 20 minutes going over all the questions. So this is the biggest thing right now here. So if there ever was time to ask me questions about severe weather, this will be the time right now here. Okay, so about Rusty. So what about the Darnell area? Mainly a wind and hail threat. However, we will have to watch out for that isolated tornado threat. And I want to stress this too. I know a lot of people are outside of this green zone right now. I've seen time and time again where we've had a tornado warning happen outside of the tornado risk itself. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there, just saying, hey, be mindful for today. Don't be off guard if a random warning or something gets issued. It's not going to be a tornado outbreak by any stretch of the matter, but just don't be shocked that happens for today here. But I'm really concerned about that damaging wind threat. I think the damaging wind threat needs to have more popularity than the tornado threat for today here, because that's going to be your biggest problem going into the afternoon and going into the evening here. Okay, so also, by the way, I do appreciate you guys for sending stars, by the way. Those that send stars, I do appreciate y'all. Basically, what happens with that, it goes straight to what you see on your screen here. It goes straight into the graphics and everything else here. And you guys sending that over the spring really helped out because we had a massive update over the summer. And this is what you guys see in terms of that massive update across the area here. Okay, so getting some heavy rainfall now in northern Carroll County up there. If you see rainfall today, send it in. Send it to our inboxes and stuff like that. If you guys see rainfall today, please let us know, because we are in an extreme situation in terms of the drought and everything like that. So if you guys see the rainfall, feel free to let us know here. It's something that we haven't seen in quite a while. So if you guys get that, let me know here. So Janet, I'm with you at this point. I'll take whatever we can get. Unfortunately, right now we're dealing with a severe threat. We'll have to watch that close. I believe that some areas will see a good amount of rainfall. It's just going to be an isolated area here. But right now, I don't see a widespread amount of rainfall across the area here. I think the biggest shot is going to be across central into eastern Arkansas, down into southern and southwestern Arkansas here across the area here. Okay, so let me see here. Being an hour for, let me see here. Being an hour from Memphis, do I need to follow the Little Rock's National Weather Service or the Memphis one? I would follow both, actually. I think both of them are pretty good. I got a lot of friends in the Memphis one particularly, but follow both. That way you get information for both as well here. Okay, so thank you for that. Let me see here. Okay, so if you guys, okay, so we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Washington County. We've been talking about that this morning. That's going to be mainly a hail threat up there. I've gotten some reports, actually. I'm getting some reports on our other screen. 1-inch hail has been reported up there in Washington County from these storms ongoing this morning here. So this is what's happening. The morning storms are actually producing hail. The dry air is our worst enemy today. That's the biggest thing. Normally, and this is the reason why we were talking about this in the winter outlook, us being in drought is our worst enemy right now, more than many ways. Okay, basically what's going on here is there's a lot of dry air across Arkansas right now, and these storms that are coming in this morning, on a normal situation, would wipe out your severe threat. It would normally wipe it out, but it's actually going to help your severe threat this afternoon into this evening. So that's the biggest thing on what's going on across the board. There's people asking about time frame. I'm gonna leave it on this graphic for just a little bit while I got the questions going here. Okay, so Matt, are we chasing today? Yes, I have 2 chasers that are gonna be out today. If they get on anything, you guys will see it on here during live coverage here. But yes, I do have 2 chasers that are gonna be out today, primarily targeting that marginal and that slight risk area here. So they're going to be out this afternoon here. Okay, so what are the timing of the storms? To break down the state. When can we expect them? I got the time frame map up right now. Now to 3 a.m. not 3 a.m. excuse me, 3 p.m. up there in northeastern Arkansas, central Arkansas. I think you guys are going to get the ball started right around 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then going all the way till 8 o'clock this evening. And then southern Arkansas, 6 p.m. from now, I may go and kind of tweak that a little bit to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Caddo, I believe for your area in particular, I do think it's going to be right around that 4 or 5 o'clock time frame before you're going to see some severe thunderstorms. Mainly it's going to be for the potential damaging winds, hail, that isolated tornado threat will be there as well here. Okay, so what is the latest? Well, the storms what's the latest? The storms will last today. We're thinking it's going to go all the way into the very late evening hours, and even in some cases the overnight hours, especially down there in southeastern Arkansas. The biggest thing I want to stress right now is damaging wind threat. Okay, I know a lot of people saw that tornado threat and it concerned the mess out of it, which is perfectly okay, because that's how you always should be during a tornado risk. That means you're on guard. That means you're ready to go for anything. Okay. However, I want to stress that the damaging wind threat is going to take priority today. It's going to be the most top thing today we're going to talk about versus the tornado threat, because of the fact that the trees are weak, the tree limbs, stuff like that. It's going to be very easy to get power outages today with any storms that get going in terms of producing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. So keep that in mind across the area. Don't rely on just those tornado warnings, okay? I am fully expecting to go live for severe thunderstorm warnings as well. If we start seeing a lot of reports of tree damage and stuff like that, I will break in on live stream to go over severe thunderstorm warnings. We're not limiting the live streams to just tornado warnings today. If we have a lot of damage coming in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings, we will be here keeping you guys updated on that as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. The damaging wind threats here, tornado threats here. I'm not saying the tornado threat's not going to happen. Just don't be shocked at the damaging wind threat. You hear more about that today versus the tornado threat here. But we'll be on guard if any warnings get issued here. And yes, definitely, that's a great comment. Damaging winds can cause just as much damage as a small tornado here. And that's the thing. 70, 80 mile per hour winds from a damaging wind gust doesn't sound great on paper. However, you do realize 80 mile per hour wind gust is actually something you see in a EF0 or EF1 tornado. So that's why we stress so much about the damaging wind threat, because those winds can match up to what you would normally see in a weak tornado. So that's why we stress so much about the damaging wind threat here. Okay, so let me see here. We'll go over some comments. Sport, thank you so much as well. Will the temperature drop a lot after this front of boundary moves through? Yes and no. It's going to be modified cooler air moving in. Temperatures will drop into, I believe, the 70s tomorrow if my current forecast holds up. Yeah, it's going to be in the 70s tomorrow. Overnight lows back down in the 40s and 50s. But then what's going to happen is the same front that's going to move through tonight and into tomorrow. It's going to come back north. That's a warm front on Saturday, bring us another threat for some isolated severe weather. And then, and I'm going to talk about this after today's severe threat, we will have to watch out for potential for frost and freeze next week. Temperatures could easily get down into the 30s for overnight lows next week. And if you go with some guidance, I saw the Euro this morning, and I got a message about it from one of my friends. We will have to watch out for temperatures in the 50s and 60s next week. There's some beautiful weather coming our way as we get towards next week. We'll talk more about that once we get past today here, okay? So what we'll be doing live streams today, of course, If anything occurs in terms of severe weather, we'll be here across the year here. And I've got a lot of questions about this, okay? We talked about this in the winter outlook, but we really didn't make a post about it on Facebook. We do not have our weather app running yet, okay? We've started on it earlier on this summer. We're still in that process of trying to make sure everything's running and everything like that here. So the time frame for it to be out right now is late winter and into early spring of next year, okay? That's the biggest thing because we're having to go through, make sure everything's running and stuff like that. I would much rather give you guys an app that is not buggy and is 100% functional than instead of trying to get it out to you guys early and there's a lot of problems with it. So just kind of keep that in mind here. But yes, we've had a lot of people ask across the question here. And yeah, we got this comment here. This is from our chief forecaster. He needs to go back to work, by the way. We'll be here in the Weather Center later on this evening, giving us updates and stuff like that, joining me later on here. But we do not have an app out right now, guys. I want to stress that. It's going to be late into the winter and the early spring of next year. It's in a work in progress right now across the area here. Okay, so here's the Futurecast here. I showed it earlier. Let me go back here. Okay, so let's go back to the HR real quick. And I want to stress to you guys, because I know I'm getting a lot of comments about the tornado threat. Make sure that damaging wind threat is the #1 priority for today. Okay, don't be shocked if we don't see any tornado potential really kind of get going. I'm really concerned about the damaging wind threat. I think the damaging wind threat is being overlooked, and it needs to be looked at, okay? The damaging wind threat will be your worst enemy for today here. I know there's the tornado threat. Of course, there's tornado threat. We'll have to watch this, see before. Some isolated stuff that may get going. But the damaging wind threat will be your worst enemy for today. That's the biggest thing I'm really concerned about. If anything is going to be producing damage and stuff like that, it's going to be that damaging wind threat across the area, okay? So let's take this out. Let's go back here, okay? So this is right around this time frame. It's about 9 o'clock this morning over there in northwestern Arkansas. We've got some storms ongoing at this time here, okay? Let's take this out. This is around 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. I'm going to stop it right here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You're going to have some storms that are going to move into central Arkansas. This is the first round that's going to move in. This round is going to die off. I think the HR may be a little bit overreaching with this round here, because I do think it's going to run to a lot of dry air across central Arkansas here. So kind of keep that in mind. But some rainfall, at least some strong storms will be possible. This is right around that 2 o'clock time frame. Okay, this goes into southeastern Arkansas. This is 3 p.m. We've got some storms ongoing. This one's probably going to end up being severe. That's right there between Little Rock and Stuttgart area. We've got some storms ongoing across this area here. Okay, this is the first round. This moves south, and then there's another round that develops on the back side of this. This is right around that 5 o'clock time frame, right around central Arkansas. Okay, and you have your first round right here, your second round right here coming into central Arkansas. And then what happens is this second round moves through right around, this is right around 8, 9 o'clock tonight into southern Arkansas and the southeastern Arkansas here. Okay, so this takes it out, and then that is done from that here. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Also, we will have a Futurecast posted after this live stream. That way you guys can kind of follow along here. But all the information will be posted on the page as soon as we're done with this live stream here. So we'll back this up. So basically this timing that you see right now to 3 p.m. up there in northern Arkansas and northeast, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. across central Arkansas, and then for our folks down there in southern Arkansas, we're talking 6 p.m. this evening all the way to 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. Okay, so let's say forward. This is a great comment. Today's going to be one of those days. I'll be going to the basement for 3 thunderstorms just to be safe. I've seen damaging winds do more damage than a tornado. If I can pin this comment, I would do it immediately, okay? This is the comment that I want to see out of everybody today. This is what I'm stressing so much, because the damaging wind threat will be your worst enemy for today. This is the reason why you have a slight risk to begin with, is the damaging wind and the hail threat. So that's what I want to see, you guys actually paying attention to the damaging wind threat, because I think the damaging wind threat is going to be the biggest problem we're going to have out of today here, okay? So what is time frame for Fulton County up there in northern Arkansas? We got it pulled up for you guys. It's now to 3 p.m. up there in northern Arkansas, and I would not expect a whole lot of severe weather up there for today. I think the biggest shot is going to be across central, eastern, and southern Arkansas. However, don't be shocked if you see some hail up there in northern Arkansas with that first round that's going to come through. That first round is going to be all you guys get for today up there in north Arkansas. The biggest shot is going to be across central and in the southern and southeastern Arkansas across the area here. Okay, so let me see here. Take stuff down, prep now. that could be damaged by winds before the storms hit. Great comment as well. I do appreciate you guys for the comments. So if y'all have any more questions, please let me know right now. This is the best time to ask the questions here. I know I got, how many people I have in here? Okay, I have about 135 people in here right now. Understandable, because a lot of people are still at work and stuff like that. If y'all have any questions, this is the time to ask right now here. I'm kind of dragging the live stream just a little bit longer to make sure I get to everybody's comments here, okay? So thank you so much for taking the time to keep us informed. That's what we're here for. We keep you guys updated on that here, okay? What about Monticello? I'm really worried for you guys down there in Monticello. You guys may have a double severe threat down there for the day. First round moves through right around that 4 or 5 o'clock time frame, and then you'll have a second round that'll move in right around that 7, 8, 9 o'clock time frame across the area here. So just kind of keep that in mind down there in the Monticello area at this point here. Okay, thank you for answering my questions. That's what I'm here for. Y'all have any questions, this is the time to ask, because later on this afternoon, this evening, we're not going to have time to answer questions. This is going to be the time right now for you guys to answer questions, to ask questions, excuse me, across the area here. Okay, so any threat from Mountain View is peaceful and beautiful up there right now. I know the sun's out. Everything looks so calm right now. It's like nothing's going on today. Little do you know, you got a severe threat going on for today here. I think up there, mainly a damaging wind and hail threat. The tornado threat is much greater to your south and east with this event. But right now, I would say damaging wind and hail threat will be the biggest shot up there in the Mountain View area here. But do not be kind of discarded because the sun is out right now. It looks beautiful, blue skies, not much going on. That can quickly change, especially on a severe weather day across the area. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at that real quick. Let's switch this back over and show you guys this with the instability. So right now, we are right here, and let's show you guys this graphically here. Okay, so right now, you can see up there in northern Arkansas, northwest is why you have a hail threat right now with those storms ongoing up there in northwestern Arkansas. This will move through, and this will start to increase the instability. This is why I'm concerned about the damaging wind threat. Look what's going on. You see, first of all, there's a boundary right through here from Hot Springs to Little Rock to Brinkley. This is the boundary that you're going to have to watch very closely this afternoon, this evening. I think there's going to be a tornado threat. It's going to be along this boundary. But anyways, you can see the 2,000 plus cape being utilized with these storms here. So these storms are going to have a lot of energy to work with, and they're going to be easily producing these damaging winds and these hail threats and these isolated tornado threats as you get towards the afternoon into the evening hours here. So keep that in mind across the area here. Okay, so let me see here. Let's take this out just a little bit further here. If you guys have any questions, let me see here. Okay, so my husband works on power lines. He cuts trees hanging close to the lines. He's parking lot today. How does that area look? Main threat will be damaging winds and hail with that particular area here. We'll have to watch it close. I do appreciate, by the way, tell him I appreciate his work, because it's him that actually brings the power back on when we have the worst of the weather. So tell him I appreciate his work out there. But definitely I would watch out for that damaging wind and hail threat for today. I think he's going to be pretty busy today, especially if these storms start getting going. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at that real quick. And this is the reason why I'm kind of harping you guys so much about this threat here. Okay, so let's take this out. And it should be popping up here just a little bit here. Okay, so you can see with the HR, these isolated areas here, this is what these storms are ongoing right now. So you can see these are non-thunderstorm wind gusts, by the way. You're talking 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Could be some locally higher wind gusts within this area. So these are where the storms are later on this afternoon into this evening. So this is why I'm so concerned about the power outage threat, and I'm so concerned about the tree damage potential, is because of the fact these storms will actually take advantage of the energy in the atmosphere, and that's where you'll get that damaging wind threat as we get towards the afternoon into this evening. Let's go back to our radar real quick and show you guys that real closely. So there's the thunderstorms ongoing right there. This is right around that 5 o'clock time frame here. So I would say this is where you're going to have to watch very closely for that damaging wind threat across the area here. Okay, so the Mayflower area didn't show much. We will be getting anything. I do believe you will be seeing some storms going through the Mayflower area. This is going to be right around that lunch time frame. I want to stress to everybody that's coming into the comments right now, if you're just now tuning in, I'm not expecting a severe weather outbreak. I'm not expecting a tornado outbreak. However, I want you guys to be on guard for the potential of seeing some severe weather for today here. There's a slight risk for a reason. I do believe it's going to be a pretty well-performed slight risk, especially across central and eastern Arkansas here, but no means about an outbreak. I'm not expecting any sort of tornado outbreak or anything like that for today here. Okay, same thing goes for BB. Will we have any bad weather on Friday? Friday, you'll be good to go. Saturday and Sunday, I would say watch it. I don't think you're going to have a lot of severe weather with that particular setup, but it just remains to be seen across the area. Same thing for Ashley County. I see your comment for Ashley County here. Mainly damaging wind and hail threat. We'll have to watch out for that isolated tornado threat down there in southeastern Arkansas here. Okay, so I answered that question here. Okay, so let me see this one. Anything for Conway? I see it's in the yellow. My radar all day doesn't really show much, but a little rain later on. Instead for some weather apps, especially the radar, it's not going to show a lot. This is why we show you guys this. That way you guys kind of have a better visualization on what to expect. I do believe you will see some thunderstorms today here. This will move through. It all depends on where that boundary stalls out. That boundary is going to be the key player on that second round. Does it develop over Little Rock? Does it develop just south of Little Rock and stuff like that? It just depends. But I think that first round is going to come through. Not much with it. Second round is going to be one you're going to have to watch very closely with this. As a matter of fact, let's see if we can go over to the high-risk NAM here. I believe it's out right now. And we're going to have that information kind of load up real quickly. And see if the high-risk NAM kind of agrees with this here. Okay, so this is the high-risk NAM actually. I believe it's actually a lot later. Okay, so the high-risk NAM is much different than the HR, which is very interesting here. Because if this happens, you're going to have a much bigger severe threat if you go with the high-risk NAM. Watch this close. I don't know if it's going to verify or not. It's a battle between the HR and the high-risk NAM right now here. But what it does is the morning round, which it does not, I don't know if it still has it or not. Let's back this up. Okay, so it does not have that morning round. So I don't think the high-risk NAM is going to verify much here. But if that first round dies out, that's where you're going to have problems this afternoon, this evening here. So let's take this out, and you can see if the high-risk NAM were to verify. Let's just play scenarios to see if it verifies. What will happen with this particular setup, first and foremost, your timing map. That timing map I'll show you guys earlier goes out the window, first and foremost. Second off, you would have a much bigger severe threat here. I'm going to get this to load up. There it is. So that would be the high-risk NAM if it were to verify. Right now, we'll have to wait and see what happens with this, because right now I think the high-risk NAM may be the most aggressive out of all the other models at this point here. But you can see what it does here. It has those thunderstorms actually coming into the metro 5, 6, 7 o'clock this evening. It's much later with the severe threat versus the HR. We'll have to wait and see. That first round that's in northwestern Arkansas is going to be the selling point of seeing severe weather for today here. Okay, so you got to wonder as dry as it is, and that's a great comment. This is why I'm telling you guys so much about damage and wind threat at this point. Let's go back over to our severe weather map here. Let's go back to our timing here. This is going to be, let's see here. So Chris, come in and give back to your comment here. So you got to wonder what the dry as it is. The trees could be a little bit more brittle, and the wind could cause more damage. Great comment, Chris. It's the reason why I'm stressing so much about the damage and wind threat. The drought right now is hurting us in so many ways. It's not even funny. It's helping us with severe threat. You know, the trees are so brittle right now. Any major wind gust that it gets can bring the tree limbs down, and that's where you can have a major power outage issue. So we'll watch it close at this point here. But a great comment, Chris. That's the reason why we're harping so much about that here. Okay, so what about Jonesboro? Mainly damage and wind and hail threat up there. No tornado threat up there, but we'll watch it closely at this point here. Okay, so a beautiful sunny morning up there in Hot Springs. Hope everybody gets rain and no storms. I hope everybody sees some rainfall for today. So I mentioned before earlier in the live stream, y'all see rain, feel free to send it in. Send it in the inbox and stuff like that. We'll post it and everything because we need the rainfall here. We're treating this rain as if it was snow coming in for today here because we desperately need the rainfall across the area here. Okay, so let's see here. What about Phillips County? Same thing. Main threat is going to be damaging winds and hail. That's why I'm harping so much about the damaging wind threat. That's going to be your biggest thing you have to worry about for today. The tornado threat is definitely there, especially across southern and eastern and central Arkansas. We'll watch it close. Let's go over to that real quick and show you guys that graphically here. Okay, so this is the tornado threat from Memphis to Little Rock to Hot Springs to Arkadelphia down to El Dorado. Few brief tornadoes will be possible this afternoon, this evening. Be mindful of any severe thunderstorm watches or any tornado. I don't think it's going to be a tornado watch. I think severe thunderstorm watch is going to be the best call for this today. But be mindful of that because that means conditions are favorable for the potential of seeing severe weather. And also, if any tornado warnings get issued, we will be here. Okay, immediately. Tornado warning gets issued, we're here. We're going to be here right here, give you guys updates on that here. Okay, Justin, I see your comment. Rain, what is that? Yeah, I know. But hopefully we get some good amount of rainfall here. But I'm going to keep an eye on that morning round up there in northwest Arkansas, because that's going to be your biggest shot of seeing severe weather. Whatever happens out of that morning round is going to be the game changer of what happens later today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to see if I can get, let me see if I can get the radar up over here. Let's take a look at that real fast here. Okay, so main threat for today is going to be damage winds and hail. I'm taking a look at radar right now and see if I can try to get it pulled up on our screen behind me at this point here. Okay, so bear with me for just a bit. Let's see if I can move this over. And there it is. Okay, so there's radar right behind me. And I'm going to take a look at some storms up there in northwest Arkansas. So there's a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Up here, $half size sail moving east at 40 miles per hour. This is what I'm concerned about right now up there in northwestern Arkansas. This morning round is moving due east, which means, let's go back over to our high risk now, okay? Let's go back over to the high risk now real quickly. I'm going to back this up and show you guys this graphically here, okay? So bear with me for just a second. See if I can get this going over here. Where's my mouse? All right, it's right here. There it is. All right, so let's go back over to the high risk NAM real fast here. And this is what I was telling you guys about earlier on about the high risk NAM kind of almost verifies. So if this particular scenario verifies, time map gets updated and everything else. But what it does is basically what's going on right now up there in northwest Arkansas. You've got some storms ongoing right now up there in northwestern Arkansas. Not much with that. We do have that one severe thunderstorm warning. I do believe it's going to go from Madison, Franklin, Crawford, and Washington counties up here in northwestern Arkansas. Mainly a hail producer is moving east at 40 miles per hour. The problem I'm having right now is this round, is it dying off, or is it, let me go over to the Fort Smith radar at this point here, trying to give a visual of what we're looking at here. Okay, so we got multiple special weathers taking us up here right now. Also, if y'all have any questions, let me know in the comments as well. Tag your family and tag your friends to this live stream. That way they're not missing any kind of information here. But the problem I'm having right now is this morning round is not as widespread as the HR is indicating. It's not as widespread as I was concerned about. So if that happens, then high risk NAM is going to verify. And high risk NAM verifies, you're going to have a much bigger severe threat to kind of verify across the board here. Okay, so let's take this out. And this is the high risk NAM, by the way. So this is 4 p.m., by the way. Not much going on. What happens with the high risk NAM, it develops it right around that 5, 6 o'clock time frame. If this happens, you're going to have a much bigger severe threat to deal with, because they'll have more opportunity to tap into that environment here. So that morning round, it dying off right now, it's not really good for our perspective here. And you can see what it does here. This is the high risk NAM. You're talking 2, 3, some cases upwards to 4,000 instability. This is what I'm concerned about. That morning round that's going on up there in northwest Arkansas is going to be the biggest play card on what happens here. And I'm afraid the HR may be overreaching with that rainfall here. Okay, so I think that's it for all the questions here. I'm not seeing any more on my end. If y'all have any more, let me know in the comments as well. And I know a lot of people are going to tune in at the very end of this live stream, or when the live stream is over. Always rewind it. We'll be here right around that lunch time frame. And once another update comes out right around that 11 o'clock time frame, we will be here. Stacy, you're always tagging Victoria. Thank you for doing that, by the way. We appreciate you. Will you be staying live during? Yes. So if we have severe weather ongoing today, we will be live. I know a lot of people are new here. Appreciate y'all for being here. What we do here during severe weather days is if we have a tornado warning, we're here. Okay, if anything occurs, we're here. Okay, we're not going to bail or anything like that. We're going to be here throughout the entire event. Okay, so keep that in mind across the area here. Justin, thank you for the comment. Share. Tag your friends, tag everyone you know across the board here. But to keep in mind, a lot of people are at work right now, so I'm not really concerned about the views or anything like that. As long as I have one person on this live stream, that's all that matters to me. I don't really care about numbers or anything like that. It's more of a passion thing for me at this point here. Okay, so great comment, by the way, down there in southwest Arkansas. And that's what I was talking to you guys about earlier on. The HR may be underdoing the development down here in southwest Arkansas here. So what's going on is the high risk NAM kills the morning activity. So this is what you see on my radar behind me. So morning activity ongoing right now. Severe thunderstorm warning. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. It just got issued. That one's going to go for, let's see here, it's going to go for central Madison County over here. I had a comment earlier from Madison County. $half size hail with that. moving east at 45 miles per hour here. So the Jasper area, mainly going to see some hail. The problem I'm having right now is just moving south. This is moving east instead of southeast. This was supposed to move southeast if you would go with the HRR. You go with the high risk now, it moves due east. So what's going on is it's going to put a boundary out, and that boundary is going to initiate that tornado threat. Do not be shocked, depending on what happens with this this morning round. Do not be shocked that slight risk ends up a little bit further to the west and gets a little bit more broad now, especially if the high risk has its way. Because if it has its way, you're going to have a damaging wind problem and an isolated tornado problem across the board here. And high risk dam, you can see this is right around that 7-8 o'clock time frame here. It just slams into southeastern Arkansas. So obviously that is the worst case scenario. The HRR right now would be your best case, but right now I don't think the HRR is going to win. I don't think it's going to win out of this one because first of all, it's misplacing these storms right now northwestern Arkansas. This is going to move into north central Arkansas as we get towards next hour or so. So Harrison, Jasper, Marshall, the Mount Home area, I think it's going to be mainly a hail threat that you're going to have to watch for. But later on this afternoon, you need to be ready for the potential of seeing some severe weather across the area here. Okay, so I think that's it. So Monticello answered a question earlier. I think it's going to be mainly a damaging wind and hail threat over there in the Monticello area. I know a lot of people said before not tuning in. I saw one comment about why we're not seeing a lot of views. I'm not really concerned about views, guys. I'm never in it for the views. I'm here for keeping everybody informed because there's a lot of people that tune into these live streams after the fact. They watch it after the fact. I've gotten notifications at 4 o'clock in the morning from a live stream I've done the previous day. So that's why I don't really stress too much about views because people see it at some point. There's a lot of people at work. You know, this is a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's not a Saturday. So a lot of people are at work. They've got other commitments going on right now, which is perfectly fine. Just make sure they see this live stream whenever they get the chance at this point here. Okay, so thank y'all so much for being here. I think that's it in terms of the comments. I'm not seeing any more comments at this point. Okay, so that's it across the year here. Okay, so that's all I got right now. If anything occurs with the lunch update, I'll probably break in and do a live stream around that time frame here. Strong storm just south of Harrison currently. I see that. Mainly a hail threat up here. I'm not really concerned about any tornado threat with these storms today. Not today, excuse me, this morning. I'm not really concerned about any storms that get going this morning here because they're going to mainly be running into some drier air. And that's the number one thing I'm worried about. If these storms start dying off because of the drier air, we're going to have some big issues this afternoon into this evening here. Okay, so we'll watch it closely, guys. We'll keep you guys updated. And see here, make sure we get over comments. I think that's everybody I've gotten to. Okay, all right, so this is all I've got at this point. I thank you guys for being here. All right, so if anything occurs later on this afternoon into this evening, we'll be here. Radar updates are going to continue on the page throughout the day. So if you need that, take a look at our page, stuff like that. And we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here on your source for all things Arkansas weather.